when people befriend you genuinely, and and they see you as a person, they see you off stage, and they see like when you're normal, you know what I mean, and
Hmm.
still rock with you that way, like that means everything.
My man, welcome to the show, big dog.
Hey, what's going on, Charles?
It's nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you as well, good sir.
As Melissa calls you, Mr. Was it Jamaal St. John?
Yes, sir.
So welcome to the show. This is gonna be all about you, but just before I get to you, I gotta let everybody know because I don't really start the YouTube version until you're already on here.
Okay.
Um, so I had COVID. Jamaal St. John. Oh, I could hear the
Yeah,
echo.
the echo, yeah.
Yeah. So I had COVID. I was down. I'm still not 100%. As most of y'all know, I run at least 2 miles every other day. So I tried to run for the first time in like 10, 11 days, and I made it a quarter mile. It's 0.25. It
Hey,
wasn't fun, but I'm here. I survived. I made it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm still black,
yes,
still
sir.
breathing, baby.
I'm still breathing.
So this is my guest, Mr. Jamaal St. John, Boondocksaint0920. Welcome to the show,
Sir.
my man.
Oh man, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's absolutely not a problem. It's my pleasure to sit down for a little bit and ask you a couple questions. Now, your part of your bio says you're a husband, you're a poet, and the world's most lovable chubby chaser.
Yes, sir.
So this should be fun. You know what I'm saying? I like
Yes,
thick
sir.
joints too. And when I say thick joints, I don't just mean like the perfect bottle that all the dudes
Right.
like no, I like the soft squishy, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you know what I'm saying? So it's real
We gonna
talk,
get
man.
along there. We definitely gonna get along.
Yeah. And to be honest, to be real with you, dog, I ain't even make I already had some questions lined up, so I ain't even have a whole bunch. So we just I'm just like we just gonna see what's up
Okay.
and see what's good. The
Sound
the
good.
first thing I wanted to get into it with you with is
Mhm.
about, of course, your poetry.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, I like that. I like to let people talk about what it is they want to talk about. So you just tell me, how did poetry become so important to you? You know, let's talk. Just go.
Well, I always wrote. Even as a kid, I wrote a lot. I went through, some things like, my parents splitting up, and
Mm,
my sister was born with a very rare form of cancer.
mm,
And she pulled through. She survived. She's doing really well. But I remember spending a lot of time in the hospital, at Sloan Kettering as a kid. And so to pass the time, in the hospital, I would write a lot. And it just kind of carried over into adulthood. And I would write poems all the time, and I would recite them to my mother. And my mom got kind of sick and tired of listening to me. Uh, so, um, so what ended up happening was she said, "Boy, we need to get you an outlet. We need to get you on a stage somewhere." And it just so happens that she was reading a copy of Essence, and it happened to be the month of April, which everybody knows is National Poetry Month. And in that particular insert, there was a story about a gentleman by the name of Reggie Gaines, who's considered a New Eurekan Poets Cafe legend.
mm,
At the time, I think he came out with an album called "Please Don't Take My Air Jordans," and it was a spoken word album. But in the article, they mentioned the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, and my mother was like, "That's where we need to take you." So I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the history behind it. I didn't know anything.
mm,
And so on my 19th birthday, My mom blindfolded me, put me in a car, took me to my very first open mic. And at the New York Poets Cafe, it's a Wednesday night. They call it the Wednesday Night Open, which is like it's an open slam basically.
Okay.
And you sign up on the open mic list, and it's a slam. It consists of about 3 rounds, and you go up there, you read your pieces, and see what happens. Well, that first night, I was nervous as hell. I was shaking up on stage. I had my little loose leaf piece of paper, and I'm like shaking like this, and I'm reading everything off, and I ended up winning that night. And and that was when I got the bug, and like I went back, like maybe for like another like 3 or 4 weeks, and my mom was with me every time. You know what I'm saying? My mom came to support me every single time because she knew I was like real nervous. And, and I kind of got the bug from that in terms of the performance aspect. But I'll tell you that I'm not necessarily, I'm not an extrovert at all. Like I'm very, very nervous in large crowds. I'm really like really big on being around a lot of people. And I'm a Virgo too. So it kind of, I spend a lot more time observing than I do talking, basically. So it's nerve-wracking. It was really nerve-wracking to be up on a stage and do that, but it was just like, I think that's what God kind of does to balance you out. You know what I mean? Like, he makes you an introvert, like an introvert, you know what I mean? But then he gives you this tremendous talent to go out and speak to people that way. So I always kind of looked at it like that was, his or her way of balancing me out, like giving me this gift so I could still talk to people, but you know what I'm saying, but still, maintain my, my introverted self. And so it's been, let's see, that was 1994 when I first started. So so that was 1994, and it is now 2021. So it's been 27 years of my life that I've been doing this.
That's crazy.
And it's taken me all over the country, and it's taken me to Canada. I see my girl Lynn Wrights is in here, and I met her in Canada, out in Toronto, and it's just been crazy. Like it's been such a and I got to tell you, the best part about it is the people that I've met along the way. They make it what it is. I like, winning slam titles is cool, and getting to travel places is great, but it wouldn't mean nearly as much without having met the people that I've met and befriended, and people that I met 15, 20 years ago that I'm still friends with now. It's just an awesome feeling. That's like the best part.
Well, shout out to your sister.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to your sister. Shout out to your moms for getting tired of listening to you. Right?
Right.
Who knows, how that could have went if she actually didn't get tired, right?
Right.
And shout out to you for winning your first time out. Like, yo, that's crazy, bro. Like, that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch sports, hey, dog, you got to take some L's along the way.
Yeah. Yes. And you do. Like eventually you do. Like, that's the thing about slam, is that, the best you can hope for is that you win more often than you lose. And believe me, I've taken my fair share of L's. So, but they're all instructive though. It's like, you lose and then you come back, stronger, wiser, better the next time. You go back to the lab, you work on your craft, you come back and, and you ready to spit again. You know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful cycle, really. You know what I mean? So I've never worried about the losing part. Because it's all subjective anyway. You know what I'm saying? At the New York we had a saying that said, like, the best poet always loses. You know what I'm saying? So, so there have been many a night where I knew I didn't bring it the way I should have, and I still won. And then there were nights where I brought it and still lost. So
Right.
it all balances out in the end. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But I wouldn't trade the experience for the world. I mean, I've met some incredible people along the way. So, you know, some of whom are actually right here in this chat right now. So
Yeah, I
it's
see them. They sure you love.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
the poet. I was telling Melissa, I was like, boy, y'all poets, y'all stick together. With one,
for
if
sure,
I interview one of y'all, all of y'all show up like, oh, we here for the combo.
for
We
sure.
here.
And I gotta, you know what I'm saying, I gotta shout out Melissa, who I affectionately call Sister Collarbones, for making the introduction and everything, and you know what I'm saying, for always supporting me. She's, you know, she's one of my dearest friends, and you know, she's just mad cool. She popped up uh unexpectedly when I went to DC a couple of weeks ago. She surprised the hell out of me and was like, "Yo, I'm here to see my favorite poet rock." I'm like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
for real? You know what I'm saying? So that's love, man. So I don't take any of that for granted, man. Like, you know, I always tell people that, you know, being a great poet is cool as hell, and it's fun and it's nice and all of that. But when people gravitate towards you as a person, you know what I'm saying? Not the
Mm-hmm.
persona that you see on stage, because on stage people look a certain way and they look powerful and they look together and they seem all high-minded and so forth and so on. But when people befriend you genuinely, and you know, and they see you as a person, they see you off stage, and they see like when you're normal, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and still rock with you that way, like that means everything. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I tell people all the time that, you know, the way I've always kept it in perspective is I'm a ordinary person with an extraordinary gift. That's it. You know,
Mm.
and like when I'm not performing, I'm just like the next person. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, you know, so I just try to keep it in perspective, and I don't take, you know, that kind of friendship or that kind of love for granted, man. That's huge.
Shout out to Mimi.
Yeah, for real, for real. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to Mimi.
Collarbone.
Mimi, she, you know, she's one of my favorite people. She's so down to earth, you know what
She
I'm
cool.
saying?
She cool as hell, ain't she?
She cool. She cool. I
Oh,
matter of fact, I've only met her one time. That was in Highsville. I went and saw her perform in Highsville.
that's what
Other
that's
than,
that's where she popped up on me at. She popped up
oh,
on me.
for
Yeah,
real?
yeah.
So I do have a question specifically for you that I
Mm-hmm.
think you'd be a good person to answer, right? And I don't know. I don't know if you know me that well in terms of, you know, what I've done and stuff like that. But I've rapped. I've been on national TV rapping
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I've made more than two albums, but it's two out there on for streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me, like, what is the? Can you break down the difference to me in rap and poetry, where they, you know, intersect and where they kind of don't?
Um, I think it, to be honest with you, I think that they're all a part of the same tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all a part of the oral tradition that comes from our ancestors, really. You know, telling
Mm-hmm.
stories, from, you know, passed down from generation to generation. Um, to be honest with you, when you look at a guy like, for instance, you look at a guy like James Brown,
Mm-hmm.
you look at the Last Poets, or you look at the Watts Prophets, or you look at Gil Scott Heron.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's like Gil Scott Heron, the Watts Prophets, and the Last Poets are the Holy Trinity to me. Because I didn't know that you could do things with words like that until my stepfather gave me a old one of those old Maxell cassette tapes, like one of those
Mm-hmm.
tapes, and at the time I had a Walkman, and he gave me this tape, and he was like, "I know that you're into poetry. You need to listen to this." And so on side A was the Watts Prophets, and side B was the Last Poets. And when I tell you that I listened to this and I was just like, wait, what? And I had to rewind and keep rewinding it back because I didn't know that you could do things with words like this. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And the stuff that they were talking about was just it was so bold and so revolutionary. Like I'm just sitting here like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, and at that time too, it was like I was already into Public Enemy. I was already into X Clan. I was already into Brand Nubian. So like it was shaping the poet I was to become. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because even with spoken word, you have hip hop influences in spoken word. Some poets actually also sing. So you got like an R&B kind of neo soul kind of influence with that too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I don't like, here's what I don't like,
Okay.
is when people say, "Oh, you rap," and I'm like, "No, I do spoken poetry." You know what I'm saying? But no, you rap. Do that rapping thing that you do. Because people think that because the words rhyme that what you're doing is rapping. But
Right.
I have way too much respect for what MCs do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If if I were to say that I was a MC, I would be wrong, because the people that I looked up to were people like Rakim and KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap and Heavy D, and I can go on and on and on, but I don't do what they do. I can't do what
Mm-hmm.
they do. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? And so am I influenced by it? Yes, but I'm nowhere near an MC per se.
Right.
I think that with spoken word poetry, it's a continuation of what we do with the oral tradition. It's a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Rapping is a part of it. In terms of spoken word poetry is a part of it. The written word is a part of it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Especially when you consider that some of the greatest writers that have ever lived are ancestors of ours. You know what I'm saying? We just lost one a couple of days ago in Bell Hooks. But when you talk about Octavia Butler, when you talk about Toni Morrison, when you talk about Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes and County Cullen and Arna Bontemps and James Baldwin, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
these are legends. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? These are the people who inspire us to keep doing what we do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We may do it differently. Like I said, I'm not an MC, but I really believe that what we do is very similar in terms of our ability to move a crowd to feel something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we just may do it differently. But I would consider us like fraternal twins or something like that, where we're a lot alike. We're very, very similar
Right.
what we do. But some poets don't rhyme. Some poets do rhyme. Some poets don't. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's part of what the difference is. Like you could rhyme or you could not rhyme. I know some people say that when you rhyme, it sounds kind of elementary or it sounds overdone. I don't believe that to be true. I think good work is good work regardless whether it rhymes or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that you can necessarily tell someone how they should manifest their gift. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like the way that you do it will be different from the way I do it, than different from the way the next person does it, or whatever the case may be. Um, I just don't think that it's wise to try to curtail people's creative urges. I just don't. I think that's the beautiful part of what we do, is that there's always room to do something else. Like they say that there's nothing new under the sun, and everything has already been said. But what hasn't been done is you saying it in the way that you say it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I
Right.
mean? So, you know what I'm saying? So we can talk, like we talk about a lot of the same topics. You know what I'm saying? Like poets, we explore a lot of the same topics, whether they be political, or they be personal, like introspective poems, or
Mm-hmm.
whether they are erotic, or whatever the case may be. We explore a lot of the same subjects, but the key is, and MCs do the same thing. You know, a lot of the same topics have already been covered,
Of
but
course.
it's your style. It's the way that it's your twist on it. It's your experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I think that, like, when I look at how I write, the way I write, I don't really write from the perspective of an MC per se. I look at poems more like a DJ looks at a beat, in the sense that I take everything around me that influences me. Like, I sample all these experiences, and
Mm-hmm.
I turn all those experiences into one cohesive poem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So within a given poem, you might hear a bunch of different influences, but it all comes together as one thing. And
Right.
so I'm more like that. You know what I mean? And I'm a very very observant person, but I'm also a big reader. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
reading is, like, when they say reading is fundamental, that's me all day. My library is ridiculous. And I shop, like I tell people, I shop for books the way women shop for shoes. Like, that.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Like I feel like, for real, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go to a bookstore, you know what I'm saying? I usually go to a lot of independent bookstores. And you gotta, like, sift through, like, crates and crates and crates of different books, and they're usually not in any particular order. You just
Right.
go and you're just sifting through crates of books, and, like, I literally go in there like DJs go in there searching for vinyl records. Like, I go in there and I'm looking through stacks, and I can
Right.
spend the whole afternoon just getting lost in all this, and come out with like 3 or 4 books. But they're books that, like, that are very, very, like, obscure, and
Mm-hmm.
things that like excite me or interest me. I'll be like, okay, this might make for a good poem down the line somewhere, so I'll just keep this, and we'll come back to it and we'll see. You know what I
Right.
mean? But that's how I am. I'm a reader, writer, researcher, and that's what I do.
Cool, cool, cool. So now earlier, and I don't even remember what topic we were on, but something that I noticed that you said that I was impressed with, because I kind of do the same thing sometimes, right? You were referencing God, the universe, the creator, and you
Mhm.
said he or she, right?
Right.
I'm a it kind of person,
Okay.
and I know some people might be offended by that. I don't mean it like lesser. I mean it like it can't be defined, so all I can
Right,
do is
right,
call
right.
it, right? But that kind of, you know, makes me segue into relationships. Now I know you're married, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I can tell that you have a an immense respect for the feminine principle,
Sure.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
I could just say the woman, that too, you know what I'm saying? But like, we talking about the divinity and the connection between the masculine and the
Right.
feminine. I could tell you respect that feminine aspect of what all of this is. Unknown is
Mhm.
a good one too. So let's talk relationships a little bit, right?
Right.
Um how's marriage?
Marriage is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think what's really interesting about
Hey,
it.
keep talking. Just give me 1 second. I'm listening.
Oh, no problem. I think what's really interesting about it is that I think, to a certain extent, people I think people over glamorize it, or over romanticize it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
um, because I think people get confused between the wedding day and married life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, the wedding day is very, like, glamorous, and you're king and queen for a day, and you got all your family and friends surrounding you, and everything is perfect, and it's beautiful, and, like, people are taking pictures, and you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff looks really, really glamorous. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm-hmm.
looks great, real glossy and everything. You know what I mean? But married life is different from that. And not saying it's not beautiful, but it's not the fairy tale that people try to tell you that it is. Like literally, people say, well, you find the right one, you fall in love, and then it's happily ever after. It's like, no, there's work to be done. Like after you get past the wedding, that's when the actual work begins. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're moving on to another chapter in your life that that's going to require you to work with this person in order to achieve the desired result. You know what I mean? Which
Mm-hmm.
is having a long lasting, meaningful marriage, and and being able to love each other until death do you part.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not this quick, easy thing that people think it is. Like people think that you just fall in love and you meet the right person and it's like you're Prince Charming and that's your princess and you just it's happily ever after. And it's like, nah, you're missing the part. Like you're skipping steps. You know what I'm
Right.
like, you
Right.
know, like there's work to be done. Like this, it's a labor of love, but it's labor nonetheless. Like you really have to work at it. It doesn't there really is no one blueprint. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
It's
Like
like it's your marriage.
exactly. And I think what a lot of people do is a lot of people, like especially like if you go on social media, right, and you see you used to see like Will and Jada, and people used
Mm-hmm.
to say goals, relationship goals. You know what I'm saying? And
That
then
shit ended quick.
yeah, and then the entanglements happened, and everybody was like, wait, what? Wait, no,
Not
wait,
relationship
no,
goals.
no, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Uh,
even when you look at Steph Curry and Aisha Curry, everybody said,
mm-hmm.
oh well, that's who we should be following. That's the goal. And then
Mm-hmm.
it came out recently that they have an open marriage, and everybody was like, wait a minute, no, what?
Hold
But
fast. Hold fast.
huh?
Hold fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's you breaking news to me. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, yeah. They've got an open marriage. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. So
okay.
so again, so what I'm so what I try to tell you look shocked, bro.
I'm, I'm shocked, right? I'm shocked, and I'm just like, well, damn. And the reason, because like, I don't personally care what those people do, right?
Right, right,
I'm
right.
just so shocked exactly because of what you're saying, though. You're like, a lot of people idolize these people, and they like, that's what that's what we want from our relationship. But then you find out,
Yeah,
and it's like, wow. So like, hey, you broke
exactly.
news to me.
Yeah, I mean, and so I tell people all the time that what works for you or what works for you and your spouse. You know what I'm saying? That's really all that matters. If it what I'm saying, like people try to, and it's because we're trying to solve marriage, right? We're trying to
Mm-hmm.
solve it. You know what I mean? We're trying to figure out if there's one set formula that we can use that will allow us to have successful marriages. Because especially
Right.
in our community, our divorce rate is 3 times higher than than other communities, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the thing of it is that um there isn't one. There isn't a set formula. There isn't a blueprint that comes with this. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
you have and it really does require some on the job training. Like it really does require you to have that period of trial and error. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You make mistakes, you figure it out, you come back together, you work on a resolution. You know what I'm saying? Things happen, you come back to it, you're like, okay. And it requires a lot of communication. It requires a lot of thought. It requires a lot of patience. You know what I'm saying? Like when they say like love is patient, love is kind, all that. Yeah, and marriage will test it. Marriage will test it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, and the other thing that I'll tell you about marriage is this is the one thing that I notice about people, um, and this goes for men and women, by the way, is that a lot of people don't realize that husband and wife are not just titles, but
Mm-hmm.
they're also tasks. And
Mm.
what happens is a lot of people take the title more seriously than they take the task.
Right. Right.
And so people want the title, but don't want the task that comes along with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that entails responsibility. You know what I'm saying? That entails, accountability. That, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's tough. That's tough. Like if you've been single for a long time and you didn't have anybody to answer to, and now you're with this person and now you got to answer to them, and you got to, and any move you make, you have to, you got to consider them, you know what I'm saying? Not just consider yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's deep. You know what I'm saying? Like it changes a lot of those things. A lot of
Right.
previous thought processes and instincts and urges and whatnot. What it changes all of that. And you
Right.
and it's really, it's a it's hard. It's not as easy as people think. It's not as easy as
Yeah.
people think. And I'll tell you that, you know, you can do your best and sometimes it still won't work out. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand it. Like it's, you work as hard as you can, and sometimes it doesn't work. That's why I don't necessarily subscribe to the term like failed marriage. I don't consider that.
Mm.
I think that there are marriages that don't work out.
Right.
But I don't think you can fail at something if you've learned from it. Like if you've learned lessons from it, if you've if it made you wiser, if it made you better, if it made you stronger. I don't think you can say, well, it was a failed marriage. You can say it wasn't successful, but I don't think that failure is a matter of not succeeding. I think failure is a matter of not trying. That's what I think.
I agree with that. How long have you been married? I might have
Let's
missed it.
see.
I don't know if you said it. I might have missed it.
Oh, no, no, no. So this year is 2021. So next year in August it'll be 20 years.
Oh man, everybody clap for that in the comments. Please show them some love. Now, on my show, I keep it 100.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm hot, I'm sweating, I'm super low on energy, right?
Uh-huh.
So one thing I always do on my show is I want to make sure I get your top five, right?
Mhm.
Your top five, dead or alive. That means you tell me five people, and you don't have to rank them one through five, but you
Mhm.
tell me five people that you would like to sit down and have a one-on-one intimate conversation with.
Oh, wow. Whew. Uh, whew. Top five. Well, there's James Baldwin.
Shout out
Um,
to James Ball.
there's Stevie Wonder. Um, Otis Redding.
Mm.
Um, Let me see. Whew, man, the last two. It's tough because
It start getting tough,
yeah,
yeah.
there's so many names, floating through my head. I would say I would love to have a conversation with Bell Hooks,
Mm.
and I would love to have a conversation with Octavia Butler. Um,
Mm.
those five names.
Wow, you have a very interesting five. I think I'm trying because I'm trying to remember if anyone else has said Stevie. Because you said Stevie Wonder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has said Stevie Wonder. Just curious, what would you ask or want to talk to Stevie about?
I would my thing would be I would ask him a lot about what his process was. What is his process for making the music that he makes, because he's my favorite artist of all time. Like there's nobody who's even close. Like I know a lot of people love Prince, a lot of people love Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I'm fans of their music, but
Right.
I don't stand for them like the way a lot of people do. But Stevie Wonder, completely different. And completely different because there's no other artist that has ever touched me in a way that he does. I want you to understand something. He made songs that men did not touch. Like, for instance, when he wrote Lately, okay, what black man do you know writes a song about getting cheated on? But in a way that's so vulnerable that when you listen to it, you just like, damn, bruh. Like you went through that? Like for real? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And the heartfelt lyrics that like move, like I've seen dudes cry to that song. You know what I'm saying? I've seen dudes cry to that song. There's a song that he wrote that I myself cry to a lot whenever I hear it, and that song is I Never Dreamed You'd Leave in Summer. Now you might know it, Shells. Like if you've ever heard that song from Common, Retrospect for Life, where with Lauren on it, and Lauren says, "I never dreamed you'd leave in summer." If you ever heard that,
I have to check it out.
Yeah. Well, that's where she got the hook from. She got the hook from Stevie Wonder. And that song is so deep because literally from the beginning of the song to the end of the song, he is literally emoting the entire time. And even when he sings the last note of the song and he carries the entire note all the way to the end of the song till it fades out, he's crying at the end of the song. And he's crying, but he's getting all this out because it was written for someone, for someone who broke his heart. And so he's crying at the end of this song. It's just like, it's amazing. Like, it's absolutely amazing. I never heard songwriting like that in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it was realistic too. Like it was like, you know how like Babyface is like he embellishes a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like Babyface is like the most unrealistic love songwriter ever. Like he wrote "Breathe Again" for Toni Braxton. Like she said, if I never hear your voice again, if I never see you again, I'll never breathe again. Like I'm going to die. If you don't love me no more, I'm gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna breathe.
You just gonna hold it.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't be holding my breath no longer. I gotta get on the air.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this dude wrote a song that said, "I'll pay your rent, I'll wash your clothes, I'll cook your dinners too, soon as I get home from work." What? Who got energy like that, child? Who got energy?
Nah, I'm married too, and I ain't even know. The answer's no. Hey. Hey, look, I'm about to sit down. I'm gonna run to the bathroom right quick. You know what I'm saying? But hold on real quick. Hold on. Because my man said he thought he was the only in Power All Day, Dr. E. My man, he said, man, I thought I was the only person who knew about that song, bought the vinyl album of that joint. Naturally, Nisha. Is it Nisha or Nisha? Naturally, Nisha.
You know what? I gotta shout her out because that's my cousin. That's my cousin.
Yeah, she said that early on, but she actually asked a question. Give me 1 second. She said she wants to know when the book coming out.
Yeah. So if if you didn't know, right, I come from a family. I come from a family of writers and readers, and Nisha's both, right?
Okay.
And she's my favorite cousin in the whole world. I love her to death. More like a big
All the
sister.
rest of y'all cousins, y'all second fiddle.
Right. It's and she's always been more like a big sister than a cousin to me. She's been looking out for me since I was knee high. So,
Mm-hmm.
but to answer her question, it's coming, cuzzo, it's coming. I'm actually working on some new poems and things like that. So, and and by the way, she's also got a podcast, Coffee. Shout out to Coffee Thought. She just started that podcast and she's doing really well with it. And I may end up being on that podcast at some point. I don't know, but yeah, that's yeah. She's always there to remind me. You know what I'm saying? Like she stays on me about the stuff like that. So love you,
Yeah,
cousin.
she showed me some. She showed me something new because it's a little question mark down here at the bottom of my screen, and it popped up, and I was like, "Oh, hold on." But look, though, dog, I appreciate you sitting down with me. Right? I want you to do something for me, though. Right?
Yes, sir.
I want you to promise me that within the next, we'll say, 3 months, right?
Oh, mm-hmm.
We'll sit down and do this again.
Absolutely.
Because this COVID shit kicking my ass. And I'm like, I ain't trying to pass out live or IG. We ain't get to talk about the thickness protection program, so we gonna hold that one for the next time.
Okay. Yes, sir.
If you don't follow Boondocks, follow him. If you follow him, but you don't follow me, follow me. If you follow me, I do follow back. I appreciate you sitting down with me, brother. Next time I gotta get you to do a poem. We're gonna talk about the thick joints.
Yeah. Yep.
And we love y'all, man. And you technically you part of the What's Up With You fam now. So
right.
You got my number. If you need anything, you know what I'm saying, you could call me, text me. I'm a cop, so if you need some advice or something like that, you be like, yo, I got a question for you. You know what I'm saying? I answer all of that. And I know this conversation probably would have went a whole nother hour if I wasn't under the weather. But
yes,
I promised y'all I will be back or do my best to be back. So I'm here. My man.
I appreciate you, bro. I really do, man. And feel better.
I appreciate it. You too. Take care of your lovely lady. We looking forward to the book. Before we go, do you have any poetry that like we can go listen to, stream, get?
Well, I have a book on Amazon called The Choice of Weapons. It's under my name, Jamaal St. John. You can pick that up off of Amazon. And funny you should say that, because I'm also working on stuff for what will prove to be a new album that I'm hoping to get streamed on iTunes and all platforms and everything. So that's coming soon. But I just want to say, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for taking the time out. I know, COVID is no joke. And the fact that, that you still have me on here, that means a lot to me, bruh. And, I just want, be safe, you know what I'm saying? Cause, the new year is starting and this ain't necessarily the best way to start a new year. You know what I'm saying? But you're healthy, you're alive. I'm grateful for that. Hope that everything goes well in terms of, you, your family, everything, this year. I hope everything comes up roses. And like I said, man, like 2-3 months, what I'm saying, we can do this again. I ain't, that ain't
My man.
not even an issue.
I appreciate you. I end it like this. Something that, especially because we've never met. This is the first time we've ever talked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black man to black man. I love you, black man.
Love
you
you
know
too.
What I'm saying?
Love you
My
too.
man, I appreciate you. Hey, it's the choice of weapons?
A choice of weapons. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna download that joint off Amazon as soon as we get over here. All right.
All right, yo.
All right, my brother. Peace. Yeah, we brothers now.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
not the first favorite cousin. All right, y'all. I'm out. I'm hot.
All right,
Holla.
yo.
Peace.